Happy Thursday. Good evening, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hey, sis. Hey, Bob. Hey, Lionel. Thank y'all so much for being here. So, tonight's topic is self love. And the title says, Why is self love so important? Many reasons why. So, how's everybody's Thursday going? I always start on time or close to the time, unlike sis. So I want to give people a few minutes to come in. Yeah. And then I'm gonna drop the link too a little later after I share a few pointers. And y'all let me know, like we all have reasons why we believe self love is very important. So I guess I'll start with, I always write down a few things. Hey, Dragonfly. He said self love is so important because I'm here to figure that out. That's why. Okay, period. Hey, I'm so glad you guys are here. Lionel, Dragonfly Jones, Sis, Bob. Who else? Yeah, whoever else is in here. So, self love. Let's start with singleness. Okay, so singleness is the foundation of all relationships. This includes you, your boss, student and teacher, parents and children, citizens and politicians, marriages, husband to wife, the list goes on. So, in my very, very young 37 years, no, I'm playing, I'm getting up there. But at age 37, I have learned that my most important relationship is not interpersonal relationships, but intrapersonal, which means the most important one is the one that I have with myself. That will always be the most important relationship. That's something we always have to remember. And why is this so important? Some may say, well, because you should desire to know you above anyone else. Like, what are we if we don't have self knowledge, right? Who are we if we don't know who we are? Um, just think like, just think if you don't really know who you are, you don't really know your strengths or your weaknesses. It's so important to familiarize yourself with these things. Like, you want to know your weaknesses, the things that trigger you, so you'll know, okay, well, I need to stay away from that, or I know to kind of check my mental state when this particular thing is being said so that I won't snap. And you can only, again, become aware of that, I guess, the more time that you spend with yourself. Hey, Smitty! Yay, Smitty's here. Hey, Chloe. Oh, Smitty finally made a live. I'm so happy. I come to yours too, Smitty, but it's always like I'm watching the replay. So, yeah. So what was I saying? The most important person for me to love is myself. Absolutely, we're supposed to love others. We know that God says in Matthew, I think it was Matthew 22 and 37, or was it 36? The greatest commandment in the law was to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. The second is love your neighbor as yourself, right? And a lot of times we do okay with, the first one, love God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And of course, we could do better in that area as well. But I think when we get to the love your neighbor as yourself, we kind of, I don't know. I feel like we can misquote that scripture sometime or miss the true meaning of it. So it says, love yourself. Not love, it says love your neighbor as you love yourself, not love your neighbor instead of yourself. And I think sometimes that's where we can miss it. I know in my younger days, like, even sometimes now, like, we may put a certain situation or a person sometimes above ourselves, and I feel like that can be really detrimental to, like, your mental state and just all around. It's just not a good thing. Like, God didn't set it up that way. God is a God of order. He said first we should love God with all of our hearts and then love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And another thing I learned is as yourself, meaning like the same measure. And I always, like, the more that I live, I realize you cannot love a person. You can only love a person to the capacity that you love yourself. So that's why loving yourself is so important. There is no way, like, you can love somebody else unless you love you. And I know this is like fundamental. We know these things, but do we really like take them in? Sometimes, because I know there has been instances where we put a person above ourselves, and I feel like when we give a person so much, that sets up an opportunity for them to manipulate and control. You get what I'm saying? And just think about it. When you love yourself, even if a person decides to take their love away from you, you are still loved because you love you. You get what I'm saying? So you cannot look for validation in people. I'm not saying that we don't need people. I'm not saying that. I think love is such a beautiful thing. But when we do it in the divine order that God set it up, like love God, then learn to love you. And then those other relationships will eventually, come into play. Just think about it. We're nothing without loving ourselves. Oh, yeah. And thank y'all so much for again being here. Hey, brother, y'all don't understand how happy I am to see my brother in here. I told y'all he a walking miracle. Really Willie in the chat, that's my little brother. I just thank God for how he has kept you. Let me not get on that too long because I'll start crying. But y'all have no idea. Just seeing my brother here typing in the chat. The God is just so good and he is so real. Okay, but what else was I saying? Yeah, God has also shown me that you can only love others to the same degree that you love yourself. Please stop trying to love people first. Think about it. Please stop trying to love people first, because if you don't love yourself, you need people to do that job for you. And it's not supposed to be that way. They're just supposed to be, an added blessing. But you have to love you. You have to. It's necessary. And also remember this. I think I just said that. If I love me and you don't love me, I am still loved because it's an inside job. I love me. I have done the work, come what may. Who comes, who goes. I'm loved. So if someone decides to keep their love from you, whether family, friends, whoever, you can still be satisfied because you loved yourself from the beginning. So this is God telling us the key is to fall in love with Him and yourself first. Fall in love with God, fall in love with you. And again, it is more important to love you than to love me. Okay, so for example, when someone says, I love you, we normally respond with what? Hold on. These bad kids, child. Okay, so when someone says, okay, I love you, we normally respond with, I love you too, right? But you know what? A good question, especially this day and time, is to say, yeah, but do you love you? Think about it. But do you love you? You love me, but do you love you? Because if they don't love themselves, they can't possibly love you. So it's a lie. This is where, and think about it, this is where the difficulty may come in, when it pertains to our relationship. There's a divine order with love, and it starts with self. We do ourselves a disservice when we look for love through certain people. That is so true. We do ourselves a disservice. Um, who is that? Hey, Jay girl, thank you so much for joining. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for being here. Oh my gosh, my brother, I love you so much, y'all. I shared his testimony. This is kind of off subject. I shared his testimony a week or so ago, and look at my brother. He's here. Oh my God, he is here, y'all. If y'all only knew what looked lifeless is now full of life and a whole new person. God, I just thank you in the name of Jesus, and I give you the glory. I just thank you so much, God. I just can't help it, y'all. You would have to be there to you would have to see it to believe it. When I say walking miracle, yes, and my mom just reminded me love is an action word. She always says that love is action, baby. And then it does say treat your neighbor like you treat yourself. And if you love God, like if you really are in the business of really studying God and his nature, it will become easier, like as far as loving yourself and loving people and operating in love. Not always. It's not always easy, but with God, it is easier. Okay, what else did I say? Oh yeah, this is a big one. A huge part of loving yourself is knowing who you are and where you come from. And you can't know where you come from without discovering who you are, right? This can sometimes, and think about it, if you don't know these things, it can sometimes cause a person to suffer from someone else's value of them. Meaning like you look for your you look for love or to feel fulfilled through others. You know, if you don't have it within, then you'll always end up looking outside for validation. And also, in some instances, when you lack self love, you create value to the things you collect. Think about it. How, and there is nothing wrong with nice things, okay? Nothing at all. We all love nice things, but I'm saying when um, you never, what am I trying to say? I guess I'm trying to say you never want to develop a need for those things in order to feel valuable. You know, well, if I don't buy this expensive car or if I don't have this particular brand of clothing, I feel less than. And that should never be the case. It should never be. Your value should never be put in a person, place, or thing. And also, self love is a result of self esteem. Esteem means worth or value, right? Like, what do you think of yourself? Never let your thoughts or what you feel about yourself be so low that people can treat you any kind of way. You are so much more. I need y'all to know that. Never let, I'm going to repeat it, never let your thoughts or what you feel about yourself, these are the inner things that sometimes you may not even talk about. People may not even know that you suffer with these insecurities, but God knows. That's why he says, seek him, go to God, like love God with all your heart. He will show you those things. He will reveal those things to you and help you, you know, in those areas where you're weak or where you may lack self-esteem. He can build those things. So I repeat, never let your thoughts or what you feel about yourself be so low that people can treat you any kind of way. You are so much more. And I said that you have to know that. You have to know your self-worth. If people see that you don't think nothing about you, then they're not going to respect you. They're not. You have to love yourself. You have to say, I have boundaries. This is something that I will no longer allow. Even if you have in the past, we are all flawed. But remember, you have to be mindful of the way that you treat yourself, and people will react and respond accordingly. You know, people are very observant. They watch. People can tell, they can sense, you know, like if you need validation from people, and we all want that. Of course, we love being praised by people. It's in our nature. It makes us feel it makes us feel good, but you never want to limit yourself to those things. Oh, well, they didn't do this. Well, oh, I feel down, or they didn't respond, or I don't feel like they appreciate me the way that they should. People do that. It's in our nature to fail, you know. So just make sure that you build yourself up. You love yourself. You have to love yourself. It is necessary in this day and time. um and also, I say get to really know yourself and love yourself. You have to live in this body while you are here forever. You might as well make the best of it. Learn you, like learn the things that makes you happy. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? Like this, you know, like learn those things. And I feel like I said, God is a God of order. Go to God first. Seek him, and then everything that you need. He is the source to every resource. So everything that you need is in the word of God. He will guide you on how to love yourself. And then again, like I said, those other things will be a lot easier. I'm gonna drop the link. I don't know if anybody wanted to come up. Like, what are some pointers? Like I said, I'm no um what do I call it? A scholar. Like when it comes to the word of God or giving out advice, I'm learning as you learn. I'm very humble, but like I said, I come on here to just give an encouraging word. If you guys want to come up, like maybe y'all have some thoughts on ways that we can, love ourselves more. Even if you may have some scriptures that you want to share, but I just wanted to reiterate the importance of self love, because we are nothing without it. We're nothing without love, period. Nothing without love. And it all starts with self. If we learn ourselves, the world would be a better place. If we focus more on ourselves, yeah, things could really turn around. Because I think I said this last week. We all, we can all point the finger at somebody else and what somebody else is doing, but we have to get ourselves together. And like I said, this is not a selfish message like, oh, just self, 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 self. All I'm gonna do is worry about myself. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to successfully love someone else and to have healthy relationships, it starts within. You have to do the inner work first. You know, of course, we love each other, we need each other, but God has a divine order. That's what I'm saying. And then all those other relationships like maybe unresolved family issues, or maybe the spouse that you want, he'll come when the time is right, but you can't properly love other people without first connecting with you and learning to properly manage your emotions. So, did anybody want to come up? Please feel free to share my live. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button. I'm going to start posting more too. Like, I'm going to start doing more inspirational songs. I rap a little bit, a little bit, little bit. So I will start doing that again too. But feel free to hit the Cash App if you like. Mo Love 8686. And share this message with somebody if you think it could help. You know, help somebody that may be struggling in this particular area. And yeah, because I think sometimes we all may go through an identity crisis, or if you haven't, maybe you know someone who has, and a lot of those identity crises does come from a lack of self-love, in my opinion. Yeah, and I'm so big on this because like I said, I have had to do the work, the inner work. It's not always easy. And there's no way that you can be happy trying, if you are in a situation where you're loving this person, going above and beyond for them, you're still gonna feel a void. You get what I'm saying? Even if that person is appreciative of it, or he's happy and you're seeing that he's happy. And I hear a lot of people say, oh, I'm happy when I see that I make other people happy. That's me too, but to a certain extent. Because even if you're making those people happy and you don't love you, there's gonna always be a void. The only thing that can fill that void is following the word of God, loving God first, and then loving yourself, and all those other relationships will begin to properly flow. Like I said, it's a divine order when it comes to love. So yeah. um and I focus on love a lot because we lack it in this evil, hateful world that we live in. So yeah, did anybody want to come up? Let me see. T is in here serious, I feel it. Lionel gotta support positive content. There's plenty of foolishness online. Oh, thank you, sis, so much. Thank y'all so much for coming through. Like I said, I know y'all be on here turning up and laughing, and we love to act crazy. But I thank y'all so much for supporting. And like I said, I just always want to come with a positive word. If y'all have like any ideas as far as topics, inbox me on IG, and we can yeah, we can come up, because sometimes I'm like, Lord, what do you want me? It don't just come clear to me what I should talk about, you know. But yeah, y'all let me know. What else did I write? Oh, yeah, this was another point. So when we study the words love God, it means to pursue and focus on God's character, God's nature, and his qualities. Because this is what we do when we love someone, right? Think about it. We pursue them. We want to know what they desire. You want to know what makes them happy. Like, what can I do today to make them smile? And this is what truly loving God is. Like all those things we do for people, what can I do to make them smile? I want to know. I wish I knew what they were thinking. Like, God wants us to have this desire for him. He wants us to be that close to him. He says, love God with your whole heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. You know? So yeah, follow this order and just seek God. Whatever questions or insecurities you have, like I always say, he knows anyway. Seek him, tell him the things you struggle with when it comes to loving you. Because we all have at some point. Some people may not be, they may not verbalize it and admit like, well, I struggle with this, or even the most confident people have issues sometimes, like those inner things that we don't talk about. Carry that to the Lord. He knows anyway. God, help me. Help me to love me. Help me, God, when it seems like I'm all alone in this thing. Help me to still love myself. Help me to know that I still have you, Lord. And he will definitely provide that reassurance when we seek him and when we dedicate our time to him. When God knows that we are genuine and what we're doing, he honors that. And like he says, his word will not come back void. It does not. He keeps his promise. If we walk in faith and we take action, God is definitely, he's a faithful father. What else? Now here you go, T, shaking my head. We just having a kumbaya moment. What did she do? Let me see. Oh, she said y'all scared to hit the link or no? Are y'all gonna hit the link? Like, have y'all ever, even if y'all don't, I'm okay. I'm just so glad y'all in here with me. But have y'all ever had an issue or a situation where you were like, wow, once you out of it, you like, dang, I forgot all about me in that situation? Or even if it's not a boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife type thing, it could be even like being a parent. I haven't done anything for myself in a long time. Like, you want to love yourself. That's another way, like gifting yourself, appreciating yourself, taking yourself out on dates, doing something nice for you and not feeling complete because someone else does that for you. You cater to you, you know? Yeah. So sis said, are y'all gonna hit the link or nah? Hi lead, how are you? So if you guys want to hit the link, just share, like, because this could really help people. I've known a lot of people who struggle with self-love. Like I said, I have been in a situation where I struggled with it. I haven't always been where I am, and baby, when I tell you I have a long way to go, yes I do. But I just know the importance of it, and I've seen so many people try to have successful relationships without first loving themselves, and it's impossible. So you first want to learn how to manage you, and first first. I say self love first, but it's God. Seek God. Like I said, He is the source for all resources, and He will guide you um, on how to do that, how to love you. I help others more than myself a lot sometimes, but other stress, I put other stress on me. Stefan, do you hear me? You are not alone. I do too. I do too, you know? Yeah, and I know we've all done that at some point. And my sister tells me, she'll say like, "You have to worry about you." My mama too, my daddy, everybody. You got to worry about you first. So I definitely get it. Um, but yeah, I help others more than myself a lot sometimes, but I put other stress on me. And I think it also has a lot to do with just who you are as a person. Some of us just, I don't know, we're more open emotionally, I guess. Like we people, I don't know. I feel like you open that door. Like people know when you're the type of person that's really gonna genuinely care. They know that they can trust you. They know that you're gonna cover them in prayer or be there in any way that you possibly can. So people are more likely to, lean on people like you. So I get it. But yeah, that's really all I had tonight, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Like I said, remember the key is loving God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and then you have to love yourself. You can't have a successful relationship without doing the inner work first. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I don't know if my sister going live or not, but I'm gonna just end it with prayer. um, and remember to always value you and be your number one fan, even when you feel like you're alone. But when you have God, it's more than the world against you. And I mean that from my heart. It really is. So y'all be encouraged. Lord, I thank you so much for another successful live. I thank you for this Thursday that was not promised. You allowed me to see it. God, I ask that you cover each and every one of us as we go about our day to day. God, I just want to thank you for your grace. I want to thank you for your love, your mercy. Thank you for remaining true and faithful even when we are not. God, we are so grateful for you. Thank you for this lesson on self love. God, I ask that you help us to all take it in. And wherever we may lack, I ask that you fill that with everything that we need. You are an all knowing and loving Father. So we trust you with everything in us. And if there's anything that I have left out of this prayer, God bless all of those who joined the live, whatever their situation is. Bless them. The people that are in a season of um a very beneficial season, or people that may be in a season of torment. God, I ask that you just place your hands on them, God. Give us all that we need so that we may not give up. Lord, you promised that if we called on you, you would sustain us, God, and we trust you to do just that. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Oh, midlife bro logic, you're late, Barney, you're late. Hi, Lisa. Oh, I'm so glad y'all came in. Oh my gosh. So maybe when I say 7 o'clock, I probably need to start like at 7:30. Cause yeah, when I say seven, I may start like at 7:04 or 7:05. But I hope that you got, oh my gosh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I have guests here. Hi.
Hey,
I'm so glad I looked. I was so deep in prayer. Okay, hey y'all.
What's
yeah,
up?
just like in the positive message, just wanted to come give you a shout out. It's nice
You are
to hear some
awesome.
words of encouragement, even if we may not believe in the same things. But
Yes.
we got to stay strong, stay positive. Don't let the winter get you down, as it is trying to get us down. At least out here in Baltimore, it's pretty cold. It's kind of miserable from time to time. But
Oh, wow.
it's good to be, we're still young. I'm probably the oldest one
Mhm.
around, but my body still works, and it won't work
Yes.
forever. So we really got to take advantage of this time on earth. And I just like your message. That's all.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But you are so right. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming up. Hi, Lead. Hi, Lionel. Can y'all hear me?
Good evening. How you doing?
Good. How are
I
you?
I let Lionel go because he was here first.
Okay.
Mm.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Um, I appreciate the words that you gave. Honestly, I don't believe the same
Oh,
stuff, but I do
mm-hmm.
believe in the message.
Absolutely.
I want to point out you brought up you was talking about your brother earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a similar situation. My
Okay.
brother, he was born at 1 pound,
Wow.
and yeah, and he was born because my mom fell off a balcony. So they had to give birth or it was going to lose him.
Mm.
Doctors told us that he wasn't going to be able to walk. He wasn't going to be able to function correctly. He was going to have heart problems. He wasn't
Wow.
going to be able to gain weight, things like that. He was going to be need to be in a special class if he could make it that far. But he
Mm-hmm.
had a deadline, basically had roughly a decade.
Mm.
Now, this is a young girl being told this, so she don't exactly know what to do.
Right.
But he's 30 years old now,
See what I'm
and
saying?
he's
Mm.
running. He probably talks better than me. Very intellectual. I mean, he's traveled the world 2 times over. I'm like dead serious.
God
He
is so good.
I mean, he does everything they say he wouldn't be able to do,
See what I'm
and
saying?
and he's been on his deathbed twice. We've had to watch him in a
Wow.
hospital fighting for his life twice.
My God. Mm.
And he's overcome all of it. So I get
Yeah.
what you mean by a walking miracle.
When I tell you, just and all my brother did was put 3 hearts in the chat. But just seeing that when you see somebody go from tubes just 2, 3 weeks later, just oh my gosh, I'm just so full of gratitude. I just remember all the prayers and how we just we came together, and we believed, and I just look at how God has just kept him. I'm just so thankful, because like I was telling my sister, I said we could have really been preparing for a funeral, but instead, I get calls from my brother saying, I'm so grateful to be alive. Like, I'm just a new person. And it shows. God is just so good. I'm just so grateful. And we don't know how he's going to do it, but he does it. I love you too, brother. Yes, they did. God is so good. Oh, God is good. Oh, my God. I'm just so grateful. But Lionel, that is a testimony, just hearing that story about your brother, you know,
Yeah.
that's real. Lead, hey, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. I came a little late. So the topic is like loving yourself.
Self
I want to
love,
make sure
yeah.
self love. Yeah. I mean, self love is a key component to everything else, right? If you don't
Mm-hmm.
love yourself, you can't love your kids. You can't love your
Exactly.
partner, right? Your significant other, whoever. You know what I'm saying? That's a key to those things. Also, loving yourself is a key to not taking abuse, because if you love yourself,
Yes,
you won't take abuse from people, whether it's your partner, whether it's a job, whatever it is in this world. You there's a line that you won't allow to be crossed because you have love for yourself. You know,
right.
but it is key to everything. And I think that if you don't have it, or if a person doesn't have it, then they have to do a deep dive within themselves and self
Yes.
reflect, and
Mhm.
see what is going on. Maybe there's some trauma in their past or whatever it is, and try to, deal with that so that they could love, so that you can love yourself. But I think loving yourself is important. It is you have to, again,
Yes.
it might, I think sometimes it comes off as selfish,
Mhm.
the sound of it, and some people feel like they have to be selfless as far as charity, and those things are good, but there's a saying that says
Mhm.
charity starts at home, right? And the
Right.
home is you specifically. So however that
Exactly.
looks, like, sometimes, take yourself out on a date, which is you take yourself to a restaurant. You don't have to wait for anyone, for boyfriend, girlfriend,
Exactly.
husband, wife, friends. You can say,
Mhm.
you know what, I want to eat such and such today because I love me. I'm going over here, or I'm going to treat
Yes.
myself to this, or I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to do this and do that. Whether it's working out, or buying some
Mhm.
new clothes, or eating better. All those things fall under self care, in my opinion. But I do
That's
think
true.
it's essential to interpersonal relationships with other people, and I think that a lot of the dysfunction that you see, whether it's from domestic violence, murders, killing, a lot of that has to do with people not loving themselves, and they're
Yes.
projecting, like the saying, hurt people, and they have not dealt with
Mhm.
this trauma. Like, for me, for a long time, I was self-destructive, but I had to examine myself, and I realized that that was because I was parentless, right? And what I mean by that is,
Yes.
I hope I'm not being long-winded.
No,
Um,
you are good. That's what this
I
my
was
channel is about.
Okay, cool. I was parentless. So what I mean by that is, my father wasn't around, unfortunately,
Mhm.
and my mother, she had to work, so she wasn't
Right.
around, right? So this is when I'm telling you, this is like the older me realizing these things and realize where the love is at. So I was lashing out, and the way that I lashed out, unfortunately, was the way that a lot of young black men who are in urban environments lash out. You take to the
Mhm.
streets.
Yes.
You're trying to be a gladiator with other young men, to prove whatever, because there's a void there. You understand?
Right.
When I look back at the things that I was involved in, I'll be shaking my head. When I look back, Mo, when I look back at the things,
Mhm.
I shiver. I get scared,
My
because
God. I'm telling you.
the older you are, the more you appreciate life. Right? Every year,
Yes.
I'm like, damn, I can't believe I made it this far. And I know people that
I'm telling you.
they didn't leave '93, they didn't leave '94. You know, so I'm next week. You know, universe will, I'll be 45. So I know people that they
That's
didn't
a
make it past
blessing.
14. They didn't make it past 15, 16.
Oh
Absolutely.
my
And
God.
when I look
We
at
were
it,
just talking
when
about
I look
that,
back,
me and my sister.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We
What
were
was you
just
talking about?
we were just talking because my sister just made 40 about a month ago, and I was like, don't try to, because she was like, my sister about to be 30, 38. She's 37. I said, just say 37. And then she was like, but do you know how many people? She was like, girl, be glad we're getting older. And I was like, really though? And she said, just think about the people we went to high school with that didn't even make
Yeah.
it out of high school. I was like,
Yeah.
we are so
Yeah.
blessed. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Doc,
all about how
imagine.
you
I'm
view a
sorry.
situation. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just like imagine losing your life at 16. I know people
Oh,
that lost their life at that age. I'm 45. We were the same age. That look how long
yes.
ago, me myself, I had a a life-threatening experience when I was 14. So imagine
Mm-hmm.
14. At the age of 14, I was stabbed 3 times.
Wow.
Once in my lung, my left lung was punctured, right? And
Mm.
if the ambulance didn't come in time, I would have been out of here. So imagine 14, right?
Wow.
So that means none of my kids would have ever been born. So
Yes.
it's again, and it all ties back in to loving yourself. And
Yes, I'm telling you.
I'm saying all this to show you how deep it is, this topic, how deep it is,
Hmm.
because it is the Barney, you help me out. It is the precipice. Did I say that word correctly? Am I using that term correctly, Barney?
You got to finish the sentence. I mean, you
Okay,
said it right.
exactly. Okay, let me say, like, loving yourself is the precipice for all other things, and
Hmm.
you can see it in your interaction with other human beings when they're doing certain things, whether it's antisocial behavior, drugs,
Yeah.
etc. You may not know their specific psychosis, but you know self hate and not loving themselves. It has to do with that. So I'm gonna land the
Yeah.
plane
I
there, but
agree.
this is a very important topic, and it may not seem like it, but it definitely is because again, it's essential.
It is. Thank you so much for sharing, Lee. That was right on time, and it's so true. It's so important, you know. And I remember you saying that a lot of people view, like, when you talk about the concept of self-love, they view it as selfishness. And I had that issue. I'm like, oh yeah, we talk about self-love, anything with self-love, like that's me being self-centered or selfish. And it's not. You are nothing. Like you said, if you don't love you, you cannot connect properly with others. Those other relationships will fail. You will continue to fail at them. I don't care how much love you try to pour into other people. If you do not properly love you, then you can't do it, you know? And like I said, it's the divine order for me. And I know y'all said some of us believe differently, but God, if you go to God, who is the source of anything, He will guide you on how to properly love you. And then it'll just trickle down to being able to love people, the way that they should be loved. And like I said, a lot of us, we go wrong because we are looking for validation in people, happiness in people. And then where does that get us a lot of times? If without you loving you, it gets you nowhere, you know?
Yeah, it's gonna lead you to be disappointed. You know.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah,
so
because no
true.
one can make you happy. You make you happy. You know, everything else, with family, friends, your partner, all those, that's an addition to life. But you have to know the keys to what makes you happy. For example, if you know
Yes.
like something triggers you, which if it triggers you, that means it's not making you happy. Then you have to know how to deal with that, how to maybe remove your situation. Excuse me, remove yourself from
Right.
that situation. Like me,
Right.
I'm I'm only trying to be smart. I'm not smart. I'm not smart. I'm a fool. I'll crash out and throw everything away. I have to not crash out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when
Right.
I see things and I be like, oh, and I'm talking to myself in my head. I'm like, oh, this person is a. Can I curse here or no cursing? Oh, no
This
cursing.
is
I'll say this
this
person
is
is a
the curse
jerk.
of my
I was gonna
love.
say it was
Yeah.
a effing a hole, but this person is a jerk. You know
Mm-hmm.
what? I need to stay away from this person at
Exactly.
all costs. Right? If it's a coworker, then I'll keep it professional. If it's not a
Yeah.
coworker, then I have absolutely no reason to be around this person. So if they over there, I'm gonna be over here, and vice versa. Why? Because this
Right.
person, their spirit, I don't like it. They trigger me. Whatever it is, I gotta stay around because they're gonna make me act out of character. All these things have to do with self-love, recognizing the
It
things that make you
does.
happy, recognizing the things that make you sad, and dealing with those things, going towards the things that make you happy, and going
Mm-hmm.
away from the things that make you sad, going away from the things that make you angry. You see, so I stay away from those
Mm-hmm.
things because it's like I'm gonna throw my life away, and then it's gonna be like, for what? Over what? Oh, when the smoke clears, it's like over this. This is foolishness.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you have to love yourself in real time.
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
Mike. Thank you for tuning in. But that's so true. We're nothing without it. And I think you learned that over time. I know I had to.
And I want to
That's
say real
something my
quick,
dad would
Lionel.
preach to me and my sister. Love yourself first. He always taught us that, and now I get it. You know, he would always say, "Do you love yourself? Make sure you love yourself." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. You know, of course." But when you really think about it, that's a good question. Do you love yourself? Do you? Man,
Yeah,
choose wisely. Everyone is not worth your energy. Man, that's true.
it's all good points being made here, and definitely just to add on to what everyone's saying here. If you ultimately do want to help other people, the best way to help them is to make sure that you are as strong and as able-bodied physically and mentally and spiritually before you can give that away. You want to give away the best version, and definitely, I think
Hmm.
what's the topic of this? Yes, self-love is so important because it helps everyone around you, just like everyone's saying. And on that note, I think I'm going to pass on through. I just wanted to say hi. Thanks for the words of encouragement, Mo and Lead. Always a
Of
pleasure. And Lionel,
course.
I don't think we've met, but shout out. And I'll see y'all on the other side somewhere. And y'all take it
All
easy. Have a
right.
wonderful night.
All right, peace,
You
Bronny.
too. Thank you,
Peace.
Bernie. Yes, but man.
So, Lionel, I want to ask you quick, like,
Okay,
did
Lisa, thank
the
you for tuning in, hon. I appreciate you so much. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was waiting for you. I was gonna say, like, were they trying to tell your mom, like, to take a certain type of course of action? I don't know. I'm just asking because it
Yes,
sounded
he
like
was.
you alluding to that.
Yes, he was on a machine for basically the first 9 years of his life because he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
breathe correctly, and he actually did have physical issues. And they was basically letting her know your son's not going to make it.
Mm.
So they were basically trying to elude or encourage her to take him off the machine.
No, 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 to keep him on the machine for as long as he could, as long as she could.
Oh, okay, got you. But she didn't listen to that. She made up her own decision, her own mind.
She did listen to it, but it did start looking like he was doing better. So we did eventually take him off of it.
No, the reason why
Okay.
I bring that up because it's like sometimes we like generally speaking, people will just listen to everything that healthcare professionals say. Which I mean,
Right.
they're professionals for a reason. But at the same time, I feel like when it comes to your health, you got to listen to your own intuition and make your own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
She
It's
was
not
only
all the time. I'm sorry.
she was only 15,
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow.
so it was only
Yeah.
so much she
yeah.
was gonna do, and not to like go deep, real deep into it. We did have a situation where she lost custody of both of us by the time she
Mm-hmm.
was 16. So when she did get us back, she was trying to do everything she could to make sure we were good and safe. So she was probably going to listen to any advice she could get.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Right.
And you said your
But
brother is what, now 30?
He's 30 now.
Wow.
and they
That's
were saying all these
crazy.
things that he wouldn't be able to do, and he blew past all of that.
Oh, all of it.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
told you
that's
I was
crazy.
gonna
That's
come.
just so real. Hey, tough guy, you made it.
I told you I was. I was just busy.
I know. So, what would you say? What would be some pointers you could give about self-love?
Say it again.
What would be some pointers you would be able to give regarding self-love?
What would be some pointers? Uh,
Yeah.
okay. Since you put me on the spot, I would say number one, value yourself. Anything of
Hmm.
value cost. And if you go to a job, you clock in. What do they do when you clock in?
I mean, what you start
Pay
work,
you?
they
They pay you
right?
for what?
Your work, your time.
There you go. So if you're around individuals that can't pay you in certain ways, then why are you around them? There needs to be some type of benefit to being around individuals. And that's the thing, is a lot of the times we can find ourselves draining ourselves trying to help other people. But in actuality, you need to help yourself. You can't help others unless you help yourself first. But also, not everybody deserves your time and your energy. So, I
True.
mean, what I'm going to do is basically take you on a journey, because you asked me a question, but there's a few different layers to that. And so that comes with self-love, self-esteem. That means how you treat yourself. That means how you take care of your business. And taking care of business could be very well drinking a gallon of water every day like you should be. Most people
Right.
don't even fucking drink water. They always drink a soda or
Oh,
juice, something else, when at the end of the day, that's
no
what's going
cursing
to
at church, but go ahead.
well, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be myself. And so at the end of the day, it ain't like I'm trying to be
I know, but
disrespectful.
if you could be mindful, my
I'll
friend. But you
try to,
good. You good.
but I mean, once I
Don't get
get
up here with a smart mouth now. Okay, go ahead.
once I get going, I will go. And you know this.
No, but you're right though. You're right.
But yeah, self love comes with a lot of layers, and at the end of the day, you gotta love you before anybody else is genuinely gonna love you. And
Preach.
that is because if you're not loving yourself, you're not going to be inviting the right energies or spirits or individuals that deserve your time and energy. So there are
Good
things that,
point.
well, um so I think that accountability and looking in the mirror has a lot to do with it as well, because
Yeah.
self-love is also comes with tough love. You can't be lying to yourself. You got to be real with yourself. So that's a part of self-love as well. No delusions, no fakeness, like really looking
Yeah,
at
you
what
right.
it is, or looking at things for what they are, right? Um, but just understanding your power. You're here for a reason, and there's some gifts that God has given you, and God has given you one great thing, and it's called a brain. They still can't figure it out. They're still studying it. The brain is a very powerful thing, and at the end of the day, a lot of people aren't using it, especially nowadays, because they got a smart. Back in the day, you used to remember about 20 to 30 numbers, so your mind is capable, but everybody's so lazy nowadays. So when you talk about
That's true.
self-love, man, I could talk about that for hours.
No, but you're
But
right.
go
You
ahead.
you gave a lot of good points. Made a lot of good points.
Yeah.
It's true.
I have some different opinions.
Okay.
I'm only saying that I don't want to sound like I'm disagreeing with y'all, but
Mhm.
I had a very young mother who was full of self-hatred. She did not
Mhm.
love herself. She
Mhm.
had no reason to love herself, and she had the world around her basically making sure she didn't love herself. But
Okay.
when she had me, she had an insurmountable love for me, despite having
Mhm.
zero love for herself. And she wanted to make sure she could do everything for me, despite being ill equipped to do so. She
Mhm.
eventually had to learn how to love herself, but I was a young boy just telling her, you need to go out, you need to go do something. Thank you for buying me every color of the Power Rangers for shoes, but what about you?
Mhm.
Don't you want something? So I would constantly be telling her, and I didn't even realize this until I got older. And when she
Mhm.
started telling me this, but she eventually had to start loving herself. But by the time she did this, she had already given me so much love, despite being
Mhm.
so full of hatred. So
So
I've seen
you're
a very
saying
different
that,
side.
okay, I can understand that, right? Because she was super young, so of course you don't come into the full knowledge of it. It happens different for everybody.
Yeah.
I've heard some people say like they didn't see love until they had their first child, or so it's different for everybody. But in my opinion, I don't believe that you can, um I guess, fully love someone without loving you. That's just my belief.
I got you.
Like I can love you, but can I do it to full capacity? Um I don't know. That's, like you said, your story is different. So I get it.
So wait, let me. So you're saying basically, Lionel, that even though your mom at the time didn't love herself, she still um showed you love. So therefore, the premise that we bringing forth is incorrect, or that's why
I,
you object to it. Is that what you're
no, no,
saying?
I'm
Mhm.
saying I have a different experience, and she could be an outlier. In a lot of
Mhm.
conversations I have with people, she generally is an outlier. But
Hmm.
yes, like when it it's a horrific childhood she had, and I really
Mhm.
do mean horrific. And she literally had no reason to love herself. The world was not going to let her love herself, just period.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to not say too much, but so
Mhm.
and then again, she's 11 years old. She's having me, not by choice. And
That's a lot.
yeah,
Yes.
so
She was a baby.
she wasn't someone who loved herself. People didn't tell her she was pretty, you know.
Mhm.
She was a dark-skinned little girl in an all light-skinned area. She had no friends. People were telling her not to be around her. The fact that she had a child, people was telling her, telling their children not to play with her. This woman,
Mm.
she's loose. The world was not nice, and she had the church also coming at her. So she had a
Wow.
mom. You're an 11-year-old child, and you have a kid, and the first thing your mom do is kick you out. life isn't Life isn't nice. She had
Even with the
no
circumstances, though, like even because I remember you shared the circumstance. I won't do that, but even like she was kicked out, even considering the circumstances, like you know.
her mom was not nice back then. That's where I
Okay.
can put it. And stuff that you might hear about or stuff you see on TV with some tragic past, that was her life. Mom would
Mhm.
ignore things that would happen in her own home, and my mom suffered. So
Mm.
they don't have a good relationship either. But she just was not a person who had love. Not saying she ain't
Okay.
love a little thing here and there. She liked music, but
Mhm.
she clearly couldn't give me the full capacity of love considering her
Right.
age.
Mhm.
But for someone who had a lot of hatred in her, she gave me so much love that I never once questioned how come I don't have a
That's so
dad?
awesome.
I
Mm.
never had to say why I don't have a dad. I'd see all these two parents or baby dads. I never ever questioned it. She had to bring it up to
Mhm.
me when I was like 15. How come you never ask about your dad? I never needed to.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've never
she's
heard it
definitely
put that way. Yeah.
an outliner. Definitely, she made
Mhm.
sure that your needs were met, and I'm talking about like emotionally and everything like that. So she's definitely an outliner. You have people like that that uh, they're just strong, and
Right.
they're able to withstand certain circumstances that life hands them. A lot of people can't. We hear about it
So
all the
true.
times. Um, even last year there was a guy here. He's like a CEO of you could probably Google it. He's the CEO of Bed Bath and Beyond, and then a lot
Oh,
of their they started like closing down a lot of their locations and stuff. This guy jumped off his 20 something penthouse
yeah,
in Manhattan and killed
I
himself.
heard. Oh,
So I'm
that's
saying
sad.
that to
I
say
heard.
that some people don't even go in, don't um go through a quarter or a fraction of what your mom went through, and they can't take it. They just unalive themselves.
That's true.
So
Right.
you have people that just are strong in their in their fortitude, and they just have that good nature. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that your mom had that, because from everything that you're saying, uh it seems like for the recipe for disaster or dysfunction, because like I'm from the
Mm-hmm.
Bronx, we hear those stories all the time, and those kids breed street kids. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
my situation, I didn't have my father, my mother wasn't around, but she was working, so that would give me time to run the streets, and I would be introduced to other kids that had a lot of social ills. And a lot of times my
Mm-hmm.
mom, she was trying to like reach out to me and pull me back in, and she would say, like, don't you see like their house, don't you see like their situation, you don't have to be like that. At that time I didn't, I'm 14, 15. I'm not hearing nothing she's saying. So,
Right.
but I'm saying that to say, like, when you see that, you be like, wow, damn, this person that I'm cool with,
Mm-hmm.
he has it worse off than me. We're in the same neighborhood, but he has it worse off than me. His
Yeah.
apartment doesn't look like mine. My apartment, my mom, she's working, she has it hooked up. His apartment, the mattress on the floor. You know what I mean? So you see
Mm-hmm.
everyone's living situation. You see that people are going through worse things. At that time, I couldn't. I'm thinking we all in the mix. We all the same. No, we wasn't,
Right.
and I couldn't appreciate it at that time. So just
Yeah.
hearing your storyline, though, is it's an amazing story actually, with yourself,
It
your brother, and your
is.
mom. You know, if you don't mind me asking, like, how's your mom now? How's things now?
That woman is living life.
Oh, that
She
is
is
That's
awesome.
what's up. That's
absolutely
what's up. That's
living
what's up.
life. All she does is travel. Works from no, she has three businesses, and yeah, she's just living life.
Mhm.
See,
That's what's up.
that's so good to hear.
But she also didn't allow us to make excuses
Mm-hmm.
because of our situations. So we were never allowed to make excuses. And something that she would do is every time we would make an excuse, we'd have to pay her $1. And
Oh, I like that.
we didn't want to do that because we wanted toys. So
Right?
it literally put us in a mentality of not being able to make excuses. And this is a girl
Wow.
who had to drop out of middle school, didn't get her college education, didn't get
How old is your mom
the
Mhm.
she is 45.
right now?
Yes,
How old are you?
34.
Wait a minute. What now?
Yeah. She
Your
had she
He,
went
he
through
hey, he wasn't here for the beginning of the story.
Yeah,
yeah.
your mom is 45 and you're 34.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So she was 11 or 12.
Yeah, she was 11.
Wow. Wow. This and how many years ago was this? 45. So this was back in the 70s.
Yeah, with her.
Okay, so that
Yeah,
was a
no,
different.
it's
That's
tough.
still young though. That's a bit much. Damn. Because 15, 16 was bad back in the day. That was like, you know. So I don't know what was going on with that.
Lionel, let me ask you a question. Not to just to switch, just pivot real quick. It ties in as well. But what is your opinion on abortion? And the reason why I ask that is because, if anything, an 11-year-old will be like a classic case of why people be like, oh, to get an abort. I mean, women of all ages do it, but a young girl pregnant at 11 will probably be a classic case of trying to like force her or try to like make her get an abortion or put that in her head to get an abortion. or someone in that situation. So what is your opinion on that?
My opinion is I do feel like ultimately it is their choice. If you ask her, she'll tell you that her mom was effectively telling her to get an abortion. They had to
Bet.
fly to go get. They went to the abortion clinic actually to get the procedure done, and it was with me because of the circumstances. But when she got to the door, she broke down crying and said she didn't want to get an abortion. She wanted to have this baby. This is going to be her best friend. She already loves this baby.
Wow.
So her mom took her back, and here I am.
And
But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do believe that you should have the choice to do it based on certain circumstances. I do hear both sides of it, but because of my particular circumstance,
You
I
need a
do
book.
believe that. Oh, go ahead.
I said you need to write a book, nigga. Oh, excuse me.
I do believe
For
that you
real
should
though.
have that choice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hear you. I just feel like your case is a classic example. Because look at yourself. Look at your brother. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're like, and I know you're glad more than anyone. You know. So that's just why hearing your story, I thought about it because it's like I feel as you probably could assume, I'm on the other side of that. But and this is your case is an example of why I am because uh, when you do that, it's like you're deleting the potential. You know what I mean? You don't know
Yeah.
what could be. You know,
Oh, I agree.
the circumstance was not the best circumstance, but everyone is not born in the best circumstance. That's just
Mhm.
unfortunately what life is, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is not, their mom met their father, their parents put them together, they have the wedding, they consummate, and then it doesn't happen that way all the time. You know what I mean? You know how my mother met my father? My mother was hanging out in front of her building, and my father walked past. All right, that's how they met. And
Mhm.
I come to find out that it was just a fling, right? They weren't
Mm.
married. They wasn't even together. They weren't like in a relationship. No, it was a fling. But guess what? Guess who's happy that they had that fling? You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it's like just
Yeah.
the potential of life,
Mhm.
right? And what could become of it. That's just how I guess I'm listening to your storyline on it. I'm just like thinking of certain things. That's all. So I
No,
just
I
feel like that.
understand.
Me
Yeah,
and my
but tough
mom is
guy is
hella
right,
close.
man.
My mom is 19 years older than me. So I mean, I can imagine how close you are with your mother because me and my mom used to do
Right.
everything. Like when she
Facts
was
is like y'all growing up together.
yeah, because
That's
like when
exactly what it is.
she was young, when she didn't have a car, we used to walk everywhere, and my mom was tall and I was little, so like I remember
Mhm.
having to like keep up, nigga. Like
Oh,
and
you
back
was
in the day,
little.
like we would try to get on the bus, and I was like young or something. Like, she'd be because I guess you ride for free for a certain age, and I was just honest as a kid, and I didn't know, and they
Mhm.
still used to let us on and shit like that. But I would be like, they'd be like, when's your birthday? And my mom, but me and my mom, we used to be really, really like tight. I remember everything,
Mhm.
like when my mom was young, and you know, modeling
Oh,
and all that. Like I've seen my mom.
what happened? I think the sound. Messed up.
I
Tough
think you
guy.
muted, tough guy.
Yeah. Or I don't know. Bad signal.
But yeah, he's right, man. You should write a book. That's deep, man. That's
Yes.
heavy, man. And just how the story unfolded, right? Like how your mom's doing right now, how your brother's doing
Right.
right now, because your brother's situation is similar to your mom's situation, right?
Mhm.
Because as far as like your grandmother telling your mom not to do this, and you know, it's similar to like when the doctor was saying, "Oh, he's gonna beat it," but you your family overcome those things, and that's a beautiful
Yes.
story. I think
That's
tough guy
what.
is right, man. That's a beautiful
Mhm.
story because, like I said, I know. Not 11, but I had a classmate that was 14 when she got pregnant, and her mom, same thing, tried to get an abortion. She didn't want to. Excuse me, she didn't want to get it. Mom kicked her out. And she said to herself, you know what? My mom kicked me out, but I'm going to make sure I finish school. She finished school. She finished college. She's married now, moved down
Yes.
south, got a house. She live in North Carolina. She's doing good for herself. You know,
See what I'm saying?
the child that she had at 14, he's grown now. He got kid. You know what I mean? So it's like, I look at it like reverse. Imagine if she would have got that her son would have never been born. The grandkids, like, it's like you're literally like cutting off. But not to digress from the topic.
No, I
Again,
got
all
you.
of this,
No,
it
you're
all still
welcome.
stems back from self-love and your mom being an outliner, and the power of her self-love. From what you're telling me, that self-love was there, whether she was conscious of
Exactly.
not.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe it's in her subconscious. But the fight of the story to me shows
Mm-hmm.
that self-love, and just to make
Exactly.
sure that you and your brother were all right, because from what I see, like from what I see with certain situations, like that may be considered like dysfunctional or whatever, like it seems like it just unfortunately trickles down to the next generation. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen women talk to their children like they hate them, like
Right.
on the bus, on
I
the
could
street. I'll be looking, I'd
never.
be
I,
like,
I
yo,
could never.
like, I'm sorry.
No, I said I could never. I've heard it too. Like,
Yeah, like
I have a cousin. I'm like, girl, how can you talk to your daughter like that? You know, that's a little you. I just don't get it.
they're putting what they're doing is they're putting a penny in the savings bank. Every time they do something, it's trauma,
Hmm.
big or small, and it's all adding up. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, your story is amazing, brother. Is
Yes,
a
it
amazing
is.
story, and it's an amazing story to self love and to loving oneself. You know, and
Because
how
it
she
takes
made
a lot
sure,
of courage to be able to say, no, I don't want to do this. You know, I want to have my baby. That's
especially at that age, especially
yes,
at that age, because remember, you could get bullied, you could get pressured into doing something you don't want to do. You know what I mean? Like
that's true.
just to have the
Yep.
mindset at that age, man. You know, a lot of 11.
Absolutely.
Please, you think I had a mind like I was on goofy times 100 at 11. You got what?
I'm
I don't know
telling
what's going on. You know what I mean? So, you know, the fact that she had the fortitude to say like, no, I'm not doing this. She felt in her spirit because she was already there. So something in her
you. Yes,
spirit told her no, her that whatever it is, it was like, no, I'm not doing that. And she listened to that voice. And
I'm
that's what's
telling
up,
you.
man.
Yes, it is. That's an amazing story. Hey, Cheapo, I saw your comments earlier. I pray you feel better, sis. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hey, San Jose. Hey, World Class. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Tonight's topic was self-love. You can go back and watch the replay. Thank y'all for tuning in. I did prayer earlier and then it turned into a whole nother new live session, but I'm here for it. Thank y'all so much for coming. Feel free to subscribe if you have not, hit the like and share the video. So before I go, do y'all have any final thoughts? Oh, and Stefan, yes. I don't know if I did say hi to you earlier. Did y'all have any final thoughts before we go?
Oh, self-love is important. I mean, I'm keeping that simple. Absolutely important.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
So
I would
true.
agree with that. It's just it's essential. You know, it's essential. Great
Mhm.
topic. You got a new sub, so I didn't know you had
Oh,
your own
thank
channel,
you.
but you got a new
Yeah,
sub. But yeah,
I
it's
do.
definitely important. Is like I said, is essential, and it's a primer for all other things. So great topic.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, and if y'all have any like ideas or if something y'all want to talk about, you know, IG me MoLove86. I think it's my IG for MoLove86 with any topic ideas. And thank y'all again for coming in. And I'm gonna go. Sis, are you gonna go live or?
Have a good night. Peace and blessings onto you, Lionel.
All right.
You too,
To
man. Thank
y'all
you.
too. Thank y'all so much. Y'all were awesome. I'm not sure if sis is going live, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it. And remember, the keys or whatever to self-love. You can go back and watch the replay. Yeah, Jeanette, you missed it, girl. Hit the rewind one time. But I love y'all. I was so happy my little brother came in. Thank y'all so much for just hitting the panel, interacting with me in the comments. Like I'm so grateful. I appreciate y'all so much. Oh, sis is not going live tonight. I know a lot of you guys were waiting and looking forward to it. She'll probably be live tomorrow. But I love y'all so much and have a blessed night.